and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I am super thrilled tonight. I have a special VIP, one of my favorite people from Clubhouse that I met, Dorez Douglas. She is a TV consultant and TV and film producer and consultant. And let's give her a super warm welcome. I'm so excited to have you in the building. Hey, Dorez, how are you?
I'm excited to be here, AJ. Thank you so much for inviting me to be your guest. In fact, you're the first podcast I've done this year.
Wow.
And so, yeah, because I was telling everybody else, I was like, I don't feel like being interviewed. There's nothing to talk about right now, and things are so bad. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to have that attitude. So I'm glad I had already promised you, so there was no backing out.
I love it. I love it. I love your spirit. I love your determination and your consistency. And you are a class act, Dorez. I just have to say, and I want to tell everyone, I respect you so much and I admire you because we were just talking a moment ago before the show, and you have this stick to itness. You are amazing. You don't give up. And that's your secret sauce. Would you say that's part of your secret sauce?
Definitely not giving up. I started in the industry in 1980 and I didn't know what I was doing. I had no connections. I was from Detroit. I moved to LA not knowing anybody other than my brother. And I just made my mind up that I was going to make it somehow. And at that time, I didn't even know I wanted to be a producer. I just knew I wanted to be in the industry in some way. And I was a singer at that time, a gospel singer. Tried to make that work. That wasn't working. And so finally, I just said, I think what I need to do is go get a job in the industry, just a regular job, like on, on one of the lots, studio lots. And I went for an interview and I ended up talking to this lady who, after talking to me for a while, she said, "You're overqualified for this position." Boy, my heart sank. I was like, oh my God, I need this job. And but anyway, long story short, she ended up looking at my resume again. And at the bottom of it, I had put down different hobbies and interests and, volunteer work and all that kind of stuff. And she said, "What is this volunteer work you do at a library?" And I said, "Oh, I go there once a week and I read to the kids at the library." And so that seemed to interest her for some reason. I didn't find out till a little bit later why. But anyway, it ended up that she was interested because ABC was looking for a story for their after school, what is it? Well, yeah, weekend special.
ABC Weekend
ABC,
Specials.
right. They were looking for some stories, ethnic stories. And it just happened that she saw that at the bottom of my resume, and I ended up not getting the job, but I ended up becoming a producer on that project. And it was a job that I didn't even know how to do.
Wow.
And but I never turn anything down. This is why I tell people all the time, say yes, because you don't know where it might lead.
Yes.
And so that's what happened to me, and that's how I became a producer.
That is such an incredible story. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I want to tell you, Dorez, I watched ABC Weekend Specials all the time. I was glued to the TV and I watched those. So I bet I watched your special and I'm so proud of you. What was it fun to work on that special? Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, yes, yes, because I was new to animation. In addition to being a new producer, I had never done animation before. And so when we had the meeting with ABC, and when they approved the deal, I didn't know what to do after that. I just sat there thinking, are we really going to be producing a project for ABC? That's what I was focused on. But anyway, we had our meetings with the writer afterwards, after we knew we had the deal. We talked to the writer. The writer told us that she was more than happy to rewrite the script because ABC had some changes they wanted to make. And so they gave her their notes. And then we ended up having our first meeting 3 days after the major earthquake
Oh,
in California.
Oh
that
my,
big Northridge earthquake in 94.
I was in that.
Yep. Well, that was that was when my deal had just started, and we were scheduled to meet on the 20th. And I had no idea on the 17th that we were going to end up having that earthquake. It was just a nightmare. And then I'm sitting in the meetings at the production company, and they were the ones doing the animation. So we're sitting there having the meeting and kept having aftershocks,
Oh my God.
one after another. I could not even focus. I was like, I just want to get out of here and get
Yes.
back home. But anyway, so what this story should illustrate, what I want to illustrate by sharing it, I want to share it with people. This is why you cannot allow yourself to let obstacles shake you up so much that you end up not being able to do your job.
Yeah.
You should never let that happen, because the minute you panic and freeze up, and you become paralyzed, you can't do anything. And
Mm.
I've seen that happen to a lot of people, that something gets thrown their way, something they didn't expect, and they don't know what to do and they panic. And so that was a lesson for me, because I got myself together after that first day.
Yeah.
And so the next meeting, I said, I'm not even going to think about that earthquake.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go into this meeting and we're going to focus on the project. So, to answer your question about the experience, one of the things I learned about animation is that it takes forever to get it done. If you think you're going to go in there and do something fast, you're going to be in for a surprise. Even though, of course, now you don't have to do them by hand. I mean, this was done like Disney style animation back then. And these artists were amazing.
Mm.
And the work they did by hand was amazing.
Yeah.
And now, of course, you can do everything, on the computer. And I'm sure it's faster. But I don't know that it's as good.
Mhm.
I have a feeling the
Yeah.
quality of it is not the same. And that's why it's hard to top Disney. they they got the lock on that.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree. And, I'm so thankful and grateful that I grew up in that time, Dorez, when you were producing things like this, because I watched this and you're right. The animation and the artistry was top notch. It was
Mhm.
so
It was so
amazing,
realistic, and
wasn't it?
the characters moved a certain way, and not like what you see now.
Right.
And I love that about it. And plus I love the weekend specials.
Me
My
too.
daughter was young at that time too, and she loved him.
I looked forward to them. That was the highlight of my weekend because, we couldn't go out in the front yard and play or anything like that. And I didn't have
Right.
we lived on a busy street. I couldn't go out in the street and play. So this was your ABC weekend specials, Dorez, were like something that I was gonna, so looking forward to. It was just so important to me. And I know many other people as well, that grew up with that. So thank you for doing that. And that was about education too. A lot of those great weekend specials, they had great messages, great stories, and
Hmm.
how to live good, how to live right, how to live balanced. And I just want to thank you so much for being a part of that because I still look for those great stories now, but I do want to ask you a question.
Hmm.
How did you remain grounded? Was it your faith? Do you have a belief system? Or we don't have to talk about that if you don't want to, but what made you centered and grounded? What has kept that constant centeredness through your life?
That's a great question, AJ. One of the things is because of the type of family I came from. My father was a minister, and my mother was very, very religious and very strict. And so she raised me with certain morals and standards, and she didn't allow me to back down under any circumstances. I was not allowed to lie or steal or do anything wrong. Anything that she thought you were crossing the line or about to cross the line, she was on top of you. And so I think that helped a whole lot. And then as I got older, I joined the church myself, and I started, reading the Bible and learning about going to Sunday school, all that type of stuff. I think those things help you stay grounded. And I had friends
Yeah.
also who were very grounded and moralistic. And I think when you have friends who are similar
Yeah.
to you, it makes a difference. And that's why the type of friends you choose,
Hmm.
that's like the most important thing ever in life,
Yeah. Yeah.
is to choose good friends. Don't let your friends choose you. You choose them,
Yeah.
because you're going to be approached, a lot of times by people that aren't, right.
Hmm.
People that aren't on the same level you're on, or don't believe what you believe, or whatever it is.
Yes.
And you can be led astray when you get involved with the wrong people. So that was another thing that my mother was really good at doing, was teaching me how to, choose my friends.
Can
And
I?
so I was very particular about that.
I love that. Can I say I love your parents? I mean, r-
Thank you. Yes, they passed on, but I thank God that I had the kind of parents I had. And I know a lot of people aren't as blessed or as lucky. They're born into families where, there's drug addiction, or, alcoholism, or whatever it is. And it's not their fault.
yeah.
But I always say, once you become an adult, it is your fault. Whatever
Right.
path you choose at that point, if you have been off on the wrong path, or your parents, set you on the wrong path, or set the wrong example,
Yeah.
you should still be able to turn your life around.
Yes.
It's up to you then to figure out how to do it. And there's all kinds of help out there. So people can't make that excuse, that, oh, I can't go to a therapist, or I can't, find anybody to help me, or whatever. There's so many resources if you really are serious and, want to turn your life around, you can.
Absolutely, definitely, I agree. And people want to help other people.
Uh-huh.
Because it's helping them better themselves, and it gives them a service as well to help another individual. So yes, I agree. And yes, we also do need good boundaries in the entertainment industry. Well, anywhere, any industry in
Yeah.
the world, you need good boundaries. You need clear boundaries so that when people approach us, and you have that, Dorez, you have great boundaries because you know what you like and what you want to do, and then there's what you may not want to do, and I'm sure you probably refer it to other people like I do, but that's the way to go. It's good to have clear boundaries, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you really do. I can tell you this, AJ. When I first started in the industry, I thought I could help everybody. So if somebody came to me and they needed help, whether it was finding a job, or their resume wasn't right, or whatever kind of, help I could give, I just jumped right in there with both feet trying to help them. And of course, I had some bad experiences that taught me you can't help everybody.
Yeah.
And there are some people, they don't really want that kind of help.
Yeah.
They'll say they do, and that they're willing to do the work, but they don't really want help. What they want is somebody to do it for them. They want it,
Correct.
like I'll get a lot of writers who say, I've written this script and it's the best ever, and it's the greatest story, and blah blah blah. And then they say, all I need is somebody to give me the money. I just need, so if you know somebody, or if you have the money, if you would just give me the money, that'll take care of my problem. And I'm like thinking to myself, it would take care of my problem too if I had the money. And so
Yeah,
you
same
can't, I just
same here.
had to start setting boundaries, and the same thing with even in my consulting service, I had to learn to set boundaries, because there are just some people that they're not going to do the work. You
Yeah.
can give them all the advice you want to give,
Hmm.
and no matter what you say, they're going to find an excuse,
Yeah.
for why they can't do it, or why do we have to do it that way. I don't know how many times I've gotten in arguments with writers over not wanting to rewrite the script. And I'm like, if you aren't willing to rewrite the script at this stage, we're
Yes.
still in the development stage of the script, and you don't want to rewrite it, then you aren't the person for me to work with. Because if I take it to somebody, to a production company or a showrunner or whoever it is, they're going to want some changes,
Hmm.
and they're not going to pay you to
No.
make those changes.
Nope.
And so I always tell people, it's your script, and you are the one who wants a deal.
Yeah,
And so why are you acting like that person should pay you as if they need your script? There
exactly.
are 100 writers out there standing in line behind you,
Yes,
waiting to get a deal. So yeah. So anyway, but that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that I can't help everybody.
great points. You are just dropping incredible diamonds and gems, and you're so gorgeous and beautiful. I just think
Ah,
you're the one of the most beautiful hearts in the entertainment industry, Dorez.
oh,
You
thank
really,
you, AJ.
yep, yep. And I just want to put that on the record and put it out there. And I also do want to say thank you to Clubhouse and thank you to Judah Ray. I have to give a special shout out to him and say thank you, Judah Ray, for introducing us
Yes.
to
Hi, Judah
Dorez.
Ray. Judah Ray. Oh my goodness. He's one of the first people that I met in the filmmaking community when I got on Clubhouse. And he has been such a joy. We have talked by phone.
Yeah.
We have looked at some of his projects, and some of them we weren't ready to take on right now. They were requiring bigger budgets than what we could do.
Isn't
But
he amazing? Isn't
but
he
he's
amazing?
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
He's one of the best. Another real person. You know, we were talking about real people. You're a real person. I hope I'm a real person.
Oh, yeah, you definitely
Am
are.
I?
You are one of the sweetest people that I've met on
Well, thank you.
Clubhouse.
Thank you. And Judah, thank you so much for saying that, Dorez. You are a sweetheart. And Judah is another real person like you. And it's so great to have, isn't it wonderful to have these great people who are not only talented, but they're super nice. They're great hearts. They're good spirits.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
you know, I love how you grew up and I love your parents and I just love how you have your faith and you need some type of faith or belief system somewhere to survive in this world, I think anywhere, whatever it is,
yeah,
whatever, you know, it's everybody's up to their own, you know, belief, but whatever you have, hold on to that because that will help us through this world. Okay, I do have a couple questions here about we have some great movie posters, Dorez. On screen, we have Beverly Hood and Still We Rise. So I love this poster. It's with Destiny's Child. Everybody knows of Destiny's Child. Tell us about Beverly Hood.
Oh my goodness, what an experience. First of all, the funny thing is I'm a little older than you know, a lot older probably. But I didn't know much about Destiny's Child when we did the movie. And because this was like the late 90s. And so I didn't really know them that well or anything. So the director was the person who got them involved in the movie. So when she said they we have the actors coming, I didn't know who they were. And she said, well, I'm going to need some extra food, special food or something like that. She needed some additional food. And she said, I'm a little bit short. I didn't realize that we have more actors coming than what I was expecting because she had changed the scenes around and we were going to be doing a different scene than what we originally planned. So I go out and run out and get this food for them, not knowing who they were or anything. I come back, they're on the set, and I told them the food is over here in such and such a tent, you know, or whatever. So I walked them over to where it was so they could eat. And then they got ready and everything, went through hair and makeup and all that, and come back to shoot their scene. And so when it finished, I was telling them what a wonderful job they did and how proud I was of them and so glad that they were able to take part in the film or whatever. And I didn't find out anything about them until later when I was telling my daughter. And she just couldn't believe it. She said, Mom, what do you mean you didn't know who Destiny's Child was? I said,
Wow.
well, I mean, I knew they were singers, you know. I said,
Yeah,
but other than that, I didn't really know much about them because I wasn't keeping up with music much at that time. But
right.
anyway, so that was a fun experience and a fun day. And we got a lot of comedians in it who were hilarious. And they really helped make the film better than it probably would have been because they were so funny.
Where can people see it and watch it? Is it on Amazon or
I
Netflix?
believe it's on Amazon. I'm not absolutely sure. It
Okay,
was on Netflix for a while.
great.
And but I think if you Google it, or either look for it on Amazon. I think you'll find it.
Wonderful. And I love it's a gorgeous movie poster. And Beverly Hood, is it about I see a guy on there with a money bag and
Oh yes, yes.
and
The story
just
is based
married.
on on the Beverly Hillbillies. I don't
That's
know if you're old
right.
enough to remember that, but
Oh
anyway,
yes. Yes,
it's a yeah.
I loved Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay, well, it's loosely based on that same type of story,
Love it.
except it's a Black family and they win the lottery.
I love it. I
And so
love
they move to Beverly Hills,
it.
but we're
Ooh,
calling it Beverly Hood.
so much. Ooh, so much fun. That is so much fun because there's Rodeo Drive there. I bet you guys had scenes on that,
Oh yeah, they're trying, and them are trying to the family trying to adjust to their life.
right?
Having money
Yeah,
when they've been dirt poor and were struggling
yeah.
before that, and so it there are some funny moments in it
I'd
where
love
you
to
see
see.
them, going through some funny experiences because they're trying to deal with this rich lifestyle and fit in, and and they don't fit in at all.
That is wonderful. I want to watch that too because I want to see what it's like to live and move into Beverly Hills. I've never lived
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. That the mansion that we used for the scenes, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. So you'll get a chance to see, what that change involved once they moved to Beverly Hills.
Love it. Looking forward to it. That's wonderful. Okay, so everybody check that out on Amazon and search for it and watch Beverly Hood. And then also we have Still We Rise, Surviving the Corona Pandemic. Now, this is an incredible movie poster because it shows a mask, which we all had to wear during that time. And Dorez, tell us about this movie and the impact that it's had.
Well, so far we haven't finished it. Unfortunately, the director became ill with COVID, and he's ended up with long COVID and just repeats attacks of COVID, and hasn't. It's really taking him some time to bounce back. But what it's about is because we were doing social distancing at that time, and the rules were so strict about getting together with lots of people or being close to people. What we did was we asked people to film themselves, and then they submitted the video to us, and then we're going to assemble it and make it into a movie. So we're adding some more to it from some other people that later contacted us and said they would like to participate. And so we'll be eventually getting that out there for the people to see. But
Wonderful.
that's what it's going to be about, is just how everybody was dealing with COVID, and what they were going through with their families and so forth.
Amazing. And I love this because it really, I'm so proud of you wanting to document that time. I haven't seen a lot of documentaries about that time, real footage
Yeah.
of what people had to go through. I saw a little bit on the news, but I'm really looking forward and super excited to see this when you finish it. And I want everyone to keep posted on this for when you have it published and distributed so that we can watch it. Dorez, this really impacted. We never really had, at least I hadn't in my life, had a type of pandemic like this before. Uh,
Right.
do you feel that too? That we just were
Oh
not?
yeah, nothing like this. I can even remember. I'm old enough to remember back when polio was a big thing, and that everybody was trying to get their kids vaccinated, and a lot of kids, their lives were totally changed, once they contracted polio.
Mm,
And then even with the flu epidemics that have happened over the years, it still was nothing like COVID.
yeah,
I never saw anything like this before. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to do Still We Rise, was because there's going to be kids that are coming along, now, who are just being born in like the last 3 years
yeah,
or 4 years, who would have no idea
right,
about how things were, and who won't know how it was prior
correct.
to COVID, and so we had some of the people talk about that as well, as to how this changed their life and what they had to do and what they've been dealing with and all of that. And some of them have had losses, lost loved ones. And so we just wanted to document it because there's never been anything like this. We didn't see this coming.
So important, so very important, Dorez, and thank you so much for that. So we'll look forward to that and keep us posted on that. I did on looking at my notes here. I think, okay, I think I asked this before the show. You have had such an incredibly long and successful career in the entertainment, Dorez. Now, what is your secret sauce?
Oh boy, I'll tell you what the number one thing is. I always keep my mind open for the possibility of a project. I don't just turn it down right off the bat, or because a person is new or this is their first time they've, written a script or whatever it is. I always look at everything, every project. My partner Willie and we look at all the aspects of it, the good and the bad, and whether or not we think we can, work with that person and all of that. And the other thing that has helped me a lot is I approach every project as if it's my first time. I never look at it and go, oh boy, I've seen that, been there, done that. I'm just so tired of these same stories. Or what, I never get that attitude. I always try to look for some new angle we can put on it or new twist
Yeah.
to the story as something that we can do that would make it resonate with a broader audience,
Yeah.
things like that. And the other thing that helps a lot is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I don't believe in just always trying to hang around the same type of people all the time, but I do like to be around positive people.
Me too.
So when I meet somebody and they're very upbeat and, they're always trying to give good feedback or, trying to be helpful, they're encouraging or
Yeah.
whatever, I like to have those people so that when I am feeling a little maybe, down or challenged or whatever, I've got somebody I can call and say, hey, how you doing today? Or I can text them or write them, email them or whatever, and they'll encourage me or they'll, say, well, tell me what's going on, tell me what the problem is. And sometimes they come up with suggestions. And that's the other thing too. You can't ever think that you know it all and that nobody can tell you anything. I don't care how old I get, I can always learn something. I'm learning something new all the time. So when people say that to me, like, oh, I've done that already, or oh, I tried that already, or I already know about that, right off the bat, I know that they're not going to make it very long in this business because you cannot feel like you know it already or you've done it already or nobody can tell you anything. And that's also why I like to surround myself by with younger people.
Yes.
A lot of people when they start to get older, they think, oh, all young people are stupid or they don't know anything. They don't know as much as I know or whatever. Believe me, you can learn a lot from younger people.
Yeah.
I have learned so much from my daughter and from my friends who are younger. When I first started getting online, there was a lot of things I didn't know how to do or, how to work a computer or all these different things.
Right.
I had a 15-year-old who taught me how to use a computer. He was the
Wow.
first person to teach me how to do email back when email first started. And so that was a lesson for me that you can always learn. There's
Yeah.
always something to learn. So that's the way that I stay young. I keep learning. I keep looking for new experiences. I love meeting new people. A lot of times, people who've met me on Clubhouse or who've met me online will say, I'm coming out to LA and I'm only going to be there a few days, but would you be able to meet with me? Would you have time? And at first I used to say, what do they think? I'm sitting around a rocking chair and not doing anything. I'm busy. But then I started meeting with them. I'd say things like, oh, maybe we can meet at Starbucks and, have a cup of coffee or something. And after I started doing that, I just started learning so much and meeting so many different people. I mean, I've met people from Canada, England, I've met people from Scandinavia and,
Amazing.
in Russia and all kind. So as I kept meeting these people and learning from them, and they learned from me, and we started a friendship, and we stay in touch. In fact,
Wonderful.
it has opened up my world.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing I tell people is that if you don't want to get old and crotchety and hard to get along with, you
Yeah.
need to bring young people into your life.
Definitely, definitely. I love that. And it's such a wonderful life, isn't it? Because there's so many great people in the entertainment industry to meet, like you said, and I just love your spirit, Dorez. So
Oh, thank you.
I love, love, love it. What film stories? I want to talk about Willie D. Burton in a minute, your friend, because
Hmm.
he's amazing. And I want to give a shout out to him. But before we talk about him, I want to ask, what film stories would you like to see more of in production?
Ah, yes. That's a really good question. And I'm glad you asked because I would like to see more stories with older people. And I think we're starting to see those now. Because a lot of people seem to think you stop living after a certain age. And I'm thinking to myself, there are people that are my age that are still dating.
Yeah.
They maybe they lost their husband or they're divorced or whatever it is, and they get right back out there and
Mhm.
and start looking again, and or at least starting to form friendships with men, and dating and stuff. So I like to see those kind of stories more, and I'd like to see some that don't always portray minorities in the same light all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they want to tell stories that they're familiar with and that they think the audiences will draw audiences.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, they want to tell that same story of, gang members or, drugs and alcohol or people fighting or whatever it is. But there are so many other stories that
Yeah.
could be told
Yes.
about people that are loving,
Yeah.
people that care about each other, people who are helping each other, and all of that. And I would like to see more of those stories as well.
Absolutely. And I would love to see your story on, on screen. And that's one of them. Because you're right. Somewhere it says, to look on beautiful things, look on lovely things, right?
Right,
And
right.
so I love this sentiment that you want more positive, beautiful stories. That's what we need in the world. And because there are so many beautiful people. And speaking of beautiful people, I want to mention recently your producer partner was nominated for an Academy Award for sound for his work on the film Oppenheimer. Congratulations, Willie D. Burton. He has won 2 Oscars and amazing. So let's give a shout out and say hello to Willie D. Burton. And how,
Hey there, Willie. Yes, Willie and I have known each other since, gosh, in the 80s. And when I met Willie, I didn't even know what a sound mixer does. So he told me he's a sound mixer, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I had no clue what he was talking about. but as I got to know him and would visit him on the set, a lot of times when he was working on movies, he would let me come on the set. And so I would come on the set and I'd watch him work. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really technical and very complicated. I mean, he had these big boards that had all these knobs on them, and he's turning all this stuff, and he's got the earphones on, and I'm like, how on earth did he learn all of this? But this is the ironic thing about Willie. As long for him to have been in the industry as long as he has never let it turn his head. When he won his first Oscar, and I was actually there to witness it in a sense, not actually at the awards, but we had decided to give a party in his honor. Some friends of mine who knew him said, well, let's give him a party, even if he doesn't win. Let's just give him a party. And after the show, he can come to this venue, and we're going to have food, and we're going to have all his friends here and all that. So we threw this party, and in walks Willie carrying his Oscar. And I have a picture of he and myself and my husband.
oh,
I'll have to post it on my social media for you. but I have a picture of the three of us at the party with him holding his Oscar.
Wow.
So that was his
Wow.
first win. That was in 89, I think 88 or 89.
Amazing.
And then he won that one. That one was for the movie Bird, which was about Charlie Bird Parker, the jazz musician.
Great.
So Clint Eastwood directed that movie. So that was Willie's first win. And then his second win was for Dreamgirls. And in between those movies, he did the movie Shawshank Redemption.
Oh my
And
God.
I really love that movie. That's one of my favorite
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
But yeah, Willie has done some major work. He did the Sound for the Color Purple, and he did Selma. He's done a lot of projects. He's done several projects with Ava DuVernay.
Oh,
And so anyway, over these years, we've gotten to know each other. But back in the late, I would say mid 90s, just after I got the deal with ABC, was when Willie and I started talking about what we wanted to do later in life. And he said he wanted to produce and direct. And at the time, I didn't know like when it might happen or when he wanted to do it, but he just kept talking about it. And after I finished the ABC project, the lady that I had worked with on it, she wasn't able to continue because of her job. She said, "Well, I'm working for a studio, and I'm not supposed to be doing this job anyway." And she says, "So I can't continue," and so that left me without a partner. So I was telling Willie about that, and to my surprise, he said, "Can I be your partner?" And
oh,
I was so blown away. I was like, "What?" And I'm thinking, here's the guy
oh,
who has done all these major movies, and he wants to be my partner.
that's
But we have learned so much from each other, and we've been partners ever since. So I'm just so excited for him with Oppenheimer, and I feel like he might win it. He might win this.
yes, yes. And so we're rooting for Willie all the way. And what a beautiful story. And I'm so glad that you met him. And, again, like-minded. You mentioned before about being like-minded and similar positive energy. And you guys got brought together. I just love, love, love that. Can I ask you a question? How did you become a consultant?
Oh, now that that's so interesting. I had no intention of ever doing that. And so, but I was always helping people like throughout my whole career, and in fact throughout my life. I've always tried to help people, and no matter what they were doing, I try to guide them or give them some advice or
Mhm.
whatever. And so probably in the last 7 or 8 years, people kept saying, why don't you do this as a service? And I said, I don't know. That just seems like a lot of work. Try to set something up and, try to have a website and
Yeah,
trying to put the word out that that I'm available and all that.
right.
But I decided to go ahead and do it because I had so many friends who were contacting me and saying, I need somebody to guide me, and, I'd be willing to pay, but I just need some help, and all that. So that's how I got into it. I started by just taking phone calls. I'd let people pay me for an hour and just call me and tell me anything they wanted to tell me and talk about anything they want to talk about. And then I'd give them whatever
Wow.
advice I could give. And
Wow.
so that's how it started. And then I got a lady who called me and said, I need some help. I'm a baker. I have all these products in these stores like Whole Foods and in casinos and
Mhm.
all these places, but I don't feel like I'm really getting anywhere. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere with it. And I need some help. And so she was the first client I took on like on a regular basis.
Wow.
So she became my first monthly client.
Nice.
And we were together for 3 years.
Oh,
And so it was wonderful. I was able to help her get on her feet, and she's doing very well now, very successful.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And Dorez, how can people, you're on Facebook, right? How can people contact you if they want consulting?
Oh, okay. Yeah, they can contact me on Facebook if they want to, and or on Instagram. You can DM me or contact me that way, and then I'll send you a link
Great.
where you can sign up. And
Wonderful.
oh, I wanted to tell you about something that Willie and I are doing.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. We have started a film and music workshop. This is going to be the first one I've done in over 30 years. I
Yay.
did one years ago under DreamWorks and Sony. Got them to put some money in, and I did it here in LA. But now I've met a lady who is a part of UNESCO. I don't know if you're familiar with UNESCO, but UNESCO is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
Wow.
And they're under the United Nations.
Amazing.
So they are part of it. And under them, they have formed a creative cities network, and they're connecting cities all over the world in film and in music. And so Kansas City got the designation to be a city of music
Oh,
for the whole United States. There
wow.
isn't another one in the whole United States. So under them, we're going to run this workshop, and it's going to be free. It's going to be for 3 days in Kansas City in June.
Oh my gosh.
So if anybody wants to know more about it, they can contact me on social media and I'll
Wow.
give you the information. But this will be the first time. So we're going to bring some people from LA, some of
Hmm.
our entertainment friends and celebrities are going to come there and teach these workshops
Wow. What an
and share their knowledge with young people.
incredible opportunity. So can they contact you on Facebook then? That's okay. And
Yeah, they can contact me on Facebook. They can also, I don't have her email handy. I'll have to look for it. I'm sorry about that. I'll send
okay.
it to you and maybe you can plug it in.
Yes.
But Bukeka Blakemore is the person who helped coordinate all of this at UNESCO. So she's set up an actual email where people can email us there and say that they would like to, it's Creative City kc@gmail.com. I'll send it to you. I just came to me what it was. But
Wonderful.
anyway, I'll send it to you so you'll have the link.
Oh,
And they can go there to get to in other words, to send a message to us letting us know that they'd like to be a part of the workshop. And
wow.
then we'll let them know when we're ready to start signing people up. We'll contact them. So yeah, so that's one of the ladies and that's involved. And the other is Anita Dixon Brown. Anita is actually the head of Creative City of Music in Kansas City.
Wow.
And so it's because of these two ladies that
Oh,
we're able to make this happen. So Willie is going to be working with me as well on this project. And then we're going to shoot a project while we're there in
yeah.
Kansas City so that the young people in the class can see what it's like to shoot a professional project.
Oh my goodness.
So
This
this will be wonderful.
congratulations. And I just want to say you are incredible. And this is your incredible spirit, along with Willie and the other ladies and this whole great organization. Dorez, this is you're meant to do this. You're such an incredible heart that you just love people so much. And it's outpouring love that I see from you. And because you love people, don't you?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. I'm a people person. My daughter always teases me about that. She's like, everybody's your friend. Everybody
Yes,
likes you. Everybody,
yes, you're
you
my
don't meet
friend.
any strangers.
You're right.
Yes. So
You're
we're
my
friends now,
I'm so
you and
proud to
I.
call you my friend. I'm so proud, honored that you're here, and you have a beautiful presence, Dorez.
Well,
And
thank you for having me. I'm just so honored to be here and
uh,
so pleased that I was able to share some information, hopefully to help someone.
absolutely, thank you so much. And I have a few more questions before we do. We're going to do our heart message
Oh, okay.
soon, but I have a few more questions. Um, uh, so I did want to ask you about women in Hollywood. Do you think it's getting better?
Oh, boy, that's the best question ever, AJ. I do think it's getting better. And I think it's partially because of the younger women who are coming along behind me. I'm so proud of the way they're helping each other. I mean, Ava DuVernay is a prime example of how she has helped so many women become directors, actors, producers. she's, got this company set up and this database to help crew people even. And it's just amazing what she's doing.
Mhm.
And Issa Rae, of course, too, is another one that's doing great things and helping people, bringing them along. As she rises, they rise, and a lot more actors are doing that too. So yes, I definitely think it's getting better.
Wonderful. I love your answer. And I'm always hopeful too for the future. Um, what would you like to say to the next generation?
Oh, I love that question too. You're the best interviewer ever. um, I would like to say to the younger generation, couple of tips. One is never stop growing and learning, and always be on the lookout for opportunities. If you don't find an opportunity, create one. Say yes, whether you know how to do something or don't know how to do it. Nowadays, with all these resources we have online, there's no reason to say no to something. You can research it, you can get on YouTube and find out how to do it. So there's no reason to be afraid. And so the other thing is be careful who you let into your inner
Mhm.
circle, and always be on the lookout for new friends, because no matter what your age, you can always make a new friend, and you're going to need friends. And so I tell people, get friends from all walks of life. Don't limit yourself to saying, oh, I'm an actor, so I just want to know other actors.
Right.
You need to know mechanics, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of people, whoever, politicians, whatever it is, whatever walk of life it is, you never know when you might need that person
So,
or they might need you. And so that's my advice.
I love it. I love that so much. Beautiful answer. And so important. Again, so many diamonds and gems that you are dropping tonight. Thank you so much, Dorez. And I do want to, before my heart message, I want to talk about there's a beautiful movie poster called Voices on the Screen. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, yes. Voices, unfortunately, it's not where people can see it yet. We hope that that will work out, but we ran into some issues because the person that financed it has passed away.
Oh,
And so now we're going through some things of, who actually owns the project now and what do we do. But Lamont Rucker, who a lot of people know from Greenleaf, he is the star of Voices.
wow.
And where that came from is there's a book called Voices of the Bayou, and it initially uh, came together because Clarence Nero, who is a professor at Baton Rouge Community College, he had come up with this idea that the pandemic had everybody so on edge, and not only a pandemic, but they'd had like a lot of problems in Baton Rouge, and they'd had like a flood, and they were having all kind of issues with the police
Wow.
and Black Lives Matter, movement and all of this. And so he noticed his students were having difficulty concentrating in class. So he asked them to share their stories, and then they put those stories into a book. And so from that book, we couldn't do all the stories because there was like 34 of them. So it was too many to do in a short film. But anyway, the school ended up hiring us, Willie and I, to produce a um, documentary about from the book, based on the book. And so we did it. And Lamont played the professor. He played Clarence Nero's role.
Wow.
And he was so wonderful in that. And so, anyway, we were able to incorporate a little bit about COVID in there as well. But basically, it's just telling these kids stories of the things that they went through during that time. And so some of the stories are amazing. And we just picked, there are probably four, something like three or four
Mhm.
of the stories to use in the film.
Wonderful, so inspiring. And this is the stories that I want to watch more of because these are voices, and I love the title Voices. It's perfect for it because
Yeah.
we all have a voice, we all have a choice, we all have a message, don't we, Dorez?
Yes, we do. And that is one of the things that came out in this, that if you don't use your voice to express yourself and to express your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, and all of that, you're not going to be excuse me, my phone was making a noise. Um, you're not going to be able to deal with life
Yeah.
in general, especially if you feel like you don't have a voice. That's a mistake, because you do have a voice and you just have to learn how to use it.
Yes, yes. And I love this so much. So many blessings and much love towards this project. And please keep us up to date and posted on that. And Dorez, in the future, I'd love to work with you also on a film. I hope we can collaborate, you know.
Oh, I would love that.
I would so
I would
much
just
love it. You
love
know,
that.
opportunity to be able to one day work with you and collaborate again
Well, we'll talk. We will definitely talk for sure.
because you are phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
I'm just going to go grab a prop because this is part of my heart message here. So let me go grab this prop. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my prop, okay? Here's my little candle holder, and here's my little candle. I have enjoyed this so very much, and I want to thank you, Dorez, my beautiful friend, my lovely sister. I'm so proud of you, and I just want to thank you for your beautiful presence tonight and all of your shares and stories. I adore you. I simply, absolutely love you. And I want to say, I'm going to go first on our heart message. Okay. So for each week, you know, so sorry, we have to start wrapping it up, but each week we do a heart message, right, Dorez? And
Mm-hmm.
so my heart message this week is, and you notice I have a little candle in my hand, light. With,
Mm-hmm.
with the world changing so fast, be sure to take inventory of how you as a person can improve, whether it's taking a class like Dorez's and Willie's coming up, or getting healthier, or organizing your career goals for 2024. Do something for self-enhancement, because when you better your life, you better other people around you. Amen. Okay, that's my heart message for and keep the light on, right? And my heart message.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And
Thank you for sharing that.
thank you. And over to you, Dorez, for your heart message.
Okay. So just remember that no matter what happens in life, there is a reason. You may not know what it is right now, but at some point you're going to know the reason. And take what you can from it, take the good out of whatever experience happens to you. Never think of it that it's the end of the world, or that it's the worst thing that could have happened, or why me, or any of that. Just say to yourself, all of this everything in this experience is going to help me be a better person. It's either going to teach me something, or it's going to cause me to change direction, change my life. Whatever it is, it's going to come out for the good in the end.
Yes. Oh, bravo. Well said. And I believe that also. That is just such a wonderful sentiment. And I take that to heart. Thank you so much, Dorez. And is there any other shout out or thank you or anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, yes, yes. I do want to thank UNESCO and Creative City of Music in Kansas City. I want to thank them for this opportunity that they are giving us to work with them, because I've never had such a beautiful relationship, working out so well with people that I don't know that well. We didn't even know each other when we started this. And now I look back and I go, wow, who knew where this was going to lead when I met them? Because I met Bukeka through Clubhouse.
Oh,
So, and I had no idea where it was going to lead. So that's who I wanted to give a shout out to.
amazing, amazing. Well, thank you again, Dorez. And we love you so much. And I hope many people are going to watch this and enjoy your interview, because you are a rock star. You are a superstar. And I'm so thankful to call you my dear and sweet friend. So
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And so until next time, Dorez, au revoir,
Okay, bye bye,
arrivederci.
everyone.
Bye bye.